All right, everybody. Good afternoon on a Christmas Eve here. You know, we were hoping for a Santa rally for some of you that are still in the market here, holding altcoins, holding Bitcoins. And I hate to say it, but hasn't exactly happened here. So, where are we going? What's going on as Bitcoin struggles just to get back over 90K? So, there's two different sentiments here, and I'll keep this video short on a holiday. Uh, some people think we are definitely in a bear market here. It's just the start of a bear market because it wasn't that while ago. Seems like decades ago, but it was 2 months ago that Bitcoin was at 126. By the way, hit that like, hit that subscribe, bell notification, super chats. We appreciate all of you. Say hello if you're in the chat. Wasn't that long ago that Bitcoin was at 126? Wasn't that long ago. But in crypto, 2 months can seem like an eternity. So what's going on now? Well, we're struggling to get any type of Santa rally, which kind of happens this time of the year every 4 years. Uh, we saw Bitcoin go to 90K, couldn't sustain in the high 80s. So there are two different sentiments right now. People thinking, as I said, we're starting a bear market, and at some point next year in 2026, we'll go below 50K. However, there are people all over saying, no, 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 no. The cycles have been broken. What's happening with gold and silver will soon happen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin will have its day in 2026. And not only that, there will be an altcoin season in 2026. We know how much the alts have struggled. It's been bad. It's been super bad. Nowhere near their all time highs in the past 2 years. In fact, most alts have been in a bear market for over 12 months. And there have been numerous reasons for that. We've gone over that. So, what's next? And here's the deal, if you think Bitcoin has ended its cycle history, then you should buy. Let's keep it real. You should definitely buy because if the cycles are over, then at some point in 2026, we're going to have a big rally. But if you think the traditional bull and bear markets are still in place, then you shouldn't be buying anything at this point, and you should be waiting for the next 6 to 12 months to re enter. That's the reality. It's not what a show like this wants to say. So there are two different trains of thoughts. What do I think? Well, I expected a little better action here, and then December's not over. And I expected some type of rally leading into March, and I still believe that will happen. However, I'm not confident that 2026 economically is going to be a great year in many places, especially the US economy. So I'm not so sure the cycles are over. I think some of the big players would love to accumulate some Bitcoin well under 70K. That's what I think. Now, I saw a Bloomberg report. One expert said, oh, Bitcoin could go to 10K. That's not happening. No chance of that. But could we go down to 45 to 50? As highly unlikely as it is, looking right now in the high 80s, I think the opportunity is possible in the next 6 to 12 months. So, what I'm doing is I'm looking for a re-entry. And if you've taken profits, you know, that's the key. When do you get back in? You can never time it perfectly. However, if you're still in the game, do you just wait? Even if you think there is a bear market, do you DCA back in to Bitcoin and gain more Satoshis as time goes on? And, you know, do I think 200K is coming in the next 2 to 3 years? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I think we'll still see the mill someday. It just won't happen as quickly as we want. There are a lot of people saying, oh, I still think 2030, the million's going to come. We'll see. We'll see. We gotta run before we can sprint, right? We gotta walk at this point. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin on Christmas, it's pretty high. Like if you zoom out, things are still pretty okay. But if you're in the short term, right now, you're frustrated because we hit 100K over 12 months ago. It's all been almost 13 months. And since then, the highest we got was 126, and alts have had very, very limited runs, really, very limited runs since the last run, November of last year, 2024. So for 2026, here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that if you are looking for a reentry, you get your spot, whatever that is. But don't get greedy. Don't expect the 20K Bitcoin. Don't expect the 25K Bitcoin. If you think the cycles are dead and Bitcoin is going to go to 150, 160, and there's going to be an alt season, well, guess what? If you're sitting on the sidelines with alts, like most of us, there'll be time to get back in. There will be time. However, if you truly believe that the alt season is coming in 2026, then these kind of prices are pretty good. But again, you have to really believe that. I can't tell you that's true. I really think, I really think that we're probably, if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick and my mortgage was on the line, I would say we've probably entered into a traditional bear market. However, I don't think Bitcoin falls as low as it has in the past. Like Michael Saylor keeps buying, that's going to keep it higher. So I don't anticipate we go down, crazy. We went from 66 to 16. If you can get Bitcoin under 60K, I think that's an amazing deal. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's possible. I do think there's been a lot of manipulation. I think there's a lot of big players, whales included, that would love to get some cheap Bitcoin and then play it back up over the next few years. And so maybe we do have a bear market, but not quite as crazy as in the past. But the alts, if we do have a bear market, are going to get decimated. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble right now to buy XRP or ADA or Injective or anything. What about ETH? If I see ETH going anywhere below 2K, I think that's an amazing buy. And I think ETH will do well after bearish action. So nothing earth shattering here, but be very careful. Um, there are really two different trains, uh, a bear train 2026, a bull train in 2026. You kind of have to do your own research. And I've stated, I think, unfortunately, to be brutally honest, I think we're headed for bear. Some people say where there's going to be some laws passed in Congress, the Clarity Act, and that will bring bullish action. We will see. We'll see if the liquidity is there. We'll see if the money is there. I'm open to it. I'm open to the cycles being dead and 2026 being a glorious year for crypto. But something tells me, if I had to really be honest, that we're in for some more bear action, and the big rebound will be late 2026 into 2029. And that's when we'll see some amazing things happen. And I think we'll finally get some regulation in the industry. And I think it desperately needs it. So we'll see what happens. Guys, you have a wonderful holiday. If you're celebrating, uh, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We will see you guys soon. If you want to help out the show, super chats are open. Please, you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys so much.